Good morning, friends. Happy 4th of July weekend. I realize I haven't shared a practice for quite a while. I've been going to a yoga studio, and so I thought today I would share my half an hour practice that I'm going to do before I get my day and my weekend started. So here we go. So we're going to start at the top of the mat with your feet firmly planted, arms just resting at your side. Softly close your eyes. And let's just get grounded here. So we're going to be inhaling through our nose for 4 counts. Hold that for a second. And then exhale through your nose. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. One more time. Inhaling and exhaling. Go ahead and flutter your eyes open. Let's start with our arms raising up. Let's just stretch our body a little bit here. So with your right hand, just reach down your leg and then stretch over with your left hand, keeping those legs firmly planted, opening up that chest, and just breathing here. Trying to keep that 4 count breath. Pulling in that core. And let's just rotate that chest up towards the sky. You feel that a little bit more on your side. And come back around and let's face our chest towards the earth. Raising back up, float that right hand up and then float that left hand down. And let's just stretch over in this side. You can look up at your hand, you can look down, or you can look straight ahead. Whatever works best for you. But try to keep those shoulders in line with each other on this first stretch. Pulling in that core, keeping those feet firmly planted. This feels so good. Now I'm going to rotate our chest up to the sky. And then let's rotate it down. Really stretching that arm over. Okay, rising back up, bringing your hands up above your head, hands to heart center, hands to your side. Reset your breath, and we're going to just start flowing. We're going to just get right into it. So gently, softly bending your knees. Your feet are directly under your hips. Softly bending your knees, bending in, raising those hands up on the inhale, bringing the hands down to heart center on the exhale. Let's just do a few more of those. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhaling and exhaling. Hands back to your side. This time we're going to add a forward fold and a halfway lift. So we're going to do the same thing to start with. So inhaling, and then on the exhale, folding over with a flat back, reaching towards the earth. So for some of you, that's going to be all the way down. For others, it's going to be right about here. Just go as far as you can, but bend those knees so you can get in. So let me just show you what I mean. So if I bend my knees, I can get further into that and then place my hands flat on the earth and then raise my tailbone, but continue to keep those abdominals in contact with those those thighs. So I'm just folding in there, breathing here. Maybe grabbing your elbows, rocking back and forth. Bending those knees and then lifting halfway, folding back in, bending your knees and lifting up. You're keeping those abdominals strong, hands to heart center, hands to your side. We're going to do a few of those, but we're not going to stop at the bottom. So inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, folding in and rising back up on the inhale. Exhaling back down, lifting halfway on the inhale, folding in and rising up on the exhale. Folding in, folding forward on the inhale. Halfway lift on the inhale, sorry. Exhaling and rising up. I got my breath count off there for a second. Okay, folding over on the exhale. Raising up on the inhale, folding in on the exhale, and raising up on the inhale. Folding in, lifting halfway, folding in and raising back up. We're going to do 2 more of those. Folding over with a flat back, lifting halfway, folding in, bending those knees and raising up. 1 more time. Folding over with a flat back, lifting halfway, folding in, bending those knees and raising up. Hands to heart center, hands to your side. So now, this time, we're going to add a plank and then a chaturanga. So just, I'm going to make sure you can see me. So let's go. Let's start again, like so, raising up on the inhale, folding over with a flat back on the exhale. Raising up on the inhale, and now let's plant our hands, step our feet back, and now we're in plank. So we're pushing our hands into the earth, and we're keeping our body really straight and stiff. We're on our toes with our feet basically as if they could walk against the back wall. Pulling in our core. Feel free to place your knees down if this is a little bit too challenging, because you're still working that upper body with your knees down, but your shoulders should be over your wrists. We're going to breathe here. Now we're going to drop down by keep folding our elbows in really tight, like so. Fold those elbows in and drop down as slow as you can, and then raising up into cobra pose. So notice my arms, they're really tucking in, lifting my chest. My hands are pressing into the earth. And then I'm going to press back into our first downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, my hands are flat, my hips are raising up to the sky. I'm tilting my tailbone up. I'm pressing my heels towards being flat. Let me just turn to the side and show you what I'm doing here. So, see that? Some people need to bend their knees
to get a little bit more access into their back. But let's just go ahead and do that here. And then go ahead and walk your feet out. Like one foot and then the other foot, maybe coming up on your tippy toes, maybe moving your hips side to side, just feeling into your body, doing whatever feels good for you today. And then walking those hands back, just one hand at a time, bending your knees.
Raising up. Hands to heart center, hands to your side. Raising up, folding over with a flat back, lifting halfway, and then we're going to walk back forward with our hands. Now we're in plank again. In this plank, we are going to fold over and do a side plank. So you can keep your feet together. You can step your left foot in front of you. You can step your left foot behind. Do whatever works best for you. But you want that wrist over your shoulder, over the top of your wrist. These poses today are strength poses. I have a small amount of time, so I want to build my strength today. Okay, we're coming back to plank and then over to the opposite side. Again, remembering that you have some options here. You can have your feet side by side. You can move a leg up. You can move a leg behind. Do what works best for your body. And the thing with yoga is, like, one day I might have access and an ability to do something. The next day it might be really hard. And that's what I love about yoga. There isn't a wrong way. No judgment. Okay, let's come back to plank. And you can lower down. Last time I forgot to give the option of dropping your knees, which is usually what I have to do. I can usually do one or two of the push-up style, but I generally have to have my knees on the ground. So with our knees on the ground, folding those elbows in, dropping really, really slowly, pausing at the bottom with our chest off the ground, and then pushing into those hands, raising it, keeping those elbows tucked in. This feels so good. Okay, let's push back up into downward facing dog. This time, we're gonna walk our feet really, really slowly up to the top of the mat. Keeping our hands planted. As you get closer, you may need to come up onto your fingertips. You may need to bend your knees a bit. Okay, and then when you get to the top, folding in, lifting halfway, folding in, bending your knees, raising up. Hands to heart center, hands to your side. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, back to plank. Drop your knees if you need to. Dropping down, up to cobra or striking cobra or upward facing dog. Upward facing dog, the top of our feet are on the mat. Our knees and legs are lifted off the mat. Our arms and our elbows are lined up with our wrists. And then folding back into downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Slowly walking our hands back towards our feet. Bending the knees if you need to. Folding in on the inhale. Or on the exhale. Lifting halfway on the inhale. Folding in, bending our knees, raising up. And then we're just going to fold right back over. Lifting halfway. And then we're going to walk those hands back out.
to plank. Here we are in plank again. This time, what I'm going to ask you to do, or what I'm going to suggest that you do, is let's just lift one leg at a time. So lifting the right leg, stretching that heel back towards the wall behind me. Now we're going to move to the other side. Okay, moving down to the mat, tucking those elbows in, pushing into those palms and raising up, pushing back to downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. And then slowly, 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 slowly walk those feet to the top of the mat. Lift halfway, folding in, bend those knees, raising up, hands to heart center, hands to your side. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our hands to heart center. We're gonna step that left leg back. We're going to place it at an angle. We're going to bend into that front knee, face our chest and hips forward as much as possible, raise our hands, arms are soft, elbows are, or our shoulders are down. Now we're in Warrior One. Let's just breathe here. Really feeling grounded. Really being present. Keep your eyes open, I suggest. I just closed my eyes and I lost my balance. Okay, we're gonna open up to Warrior Two. So in Warrior Two, I'm adjusting my back foot a little, maybe opening it up more, maybe moving it out a bit. And I'm twisting my hips towards the opposite wall, raising my arms out, still bending into that front knee. My back leg is straight and I'm trying to push the back edge of my foot towards the mat. In other words, my foot is flat on the mat. And I'm looking forward, my dristi or my gaze is over my front middle finger. Yoga is a moving meditation. And so our breath, our gaze, our state of mind are all part of our practice. Actually, when I say yoga, I mean the asanas of yoga. The asanas are only one of the 8 limb path. Bending into that front knee, flipping our palm, keeping that knee bent, folding back into peaceful warrior. Coming back to Warrior Two, bending that elbow, and then we're gonna float down to side angle pose. So notice how I'm trying to keep my shoulders in line. So I'm trying to press my hips, my shoulders, my hips, everything in line. I once had a yoga teacher say, as if you were in between 2 panes of glass and everything was in line, so no part of you was touching the glass. So my front knee is bent, and my back leg is straight, and my feet are very flat on the mat, both feet. All my toes, my heel. Luckily not my arches, because I have pretty high arches. So now we're gonna press into that front knee, raising back up to Warrior Two. Floating over and straightening our leg, our front leg, and then we're gonna reach forward and move down into triangle pose. So again, with triangle pose, we're not trying to see how far we can get down. What we're trying to do is, again, twisting open and reaching down. You want that front knee, that front leg to be straight, but you might need a little bit of a bend in it if you're hyper flexible,
because if you're hyper flexible, you might end up locking out that front knee, which is really not getting into the muscular strength. You're bone to bone, and so you're not really using your muscles. Okay, we're gonna raise back up. We're gonna float back again into humble warrior, peaceful warrior. And then we're gonna windmill our hands down to the mat. We're gonna step back. We're gonna do a chaturanga here, down, halfway lift, downward facing dog. And so this time we're just gonna step that left foot forward, open up the heel on that right foot, and then raise up into warrior one. Okay, what did I do next? I think I did warrior two. So moving into warrior two. Now my hips are facing this wall. My gaze is over my front middle finger. Flipping my palm, staying bent into that front knee, floating back into peaceful warrior. Coming back into warrior two, bending that wrist, floating down, opening up, remembering that pane of glass. I'm trying not to like put all my weight here, so see, I can just stay like this. I'm just kind of using my leg as a guide. Okay, I'm gonna float up, keeping that knee bent. Now I'm gonna straighten out that front leg, reaching forward, my front leg is straight, folding down into triangle pose. Floating back again into peaceful warrior, windmilling those hands down, coming to plank. We're gonna slowly drop down to the mat. So now we're flat on the mat, and we're actually, because we're trying to keep this, what are we at, 22 minutes or 27 minutes? Let me look. We're at 23 minutes, okay, cool, that's perfect. So let's go ahead and come onto our back. Let's just do a couple abdominal moves here. So we're gonna hug in our knees, keeping our tailbone on the ground, our feet are off the mat, and then we're going to grab behind your knees and your thighs and raise our feet, moving our chest forward towards our legs. You can stay here, or if you like, you can raise your hands up and raise your toes up. Let's hug back in. Go ahead and straighten those legs. Go ahead and stay here or open back up. In. This time we can do the same thing, or if you like to grab your toes and then open up wide. Trying not to slump into your back, trying to keep that chest pulling forward, keeping that integrity of this posture. Go ahead and hug those knees back in. I'm gonna just turn to the side. You stay just as you are. And we're gonna float down to the mat. So now we're flat on the mat. Our feet are just about where your fingertips can graze your heels. Our palms are flat on the mat. We're pressing our feet flat onto the ground, and then we're just gonna raise our hips up on the inhale. And we're just pressing those hip bones up towards the sky. Just breathing here. Continuing to press into those feet and raise those hips up a little bit more. Slowly drop our tailbone down to the mat. Maybe hug those knees in. Maybe rock side to side. Let's put those feet back down. Let's push up one more time into bridge. Pushing those hip bones up towards the sky. Floating back down, hugging those knees in, rocking side to side, and then take that left hand and put it on the right side of your knees and slowly fold it over, and then you can stretch your arms out, and then looking over your opposite hand, this is just a real gentle twist. Twisting out that spine, calming the body. Okay, we're going to slowly bring those knees up, and we're just going to float them over to the opposite side. And now we're looking over our opposite arm. I love a twist. So today we just did a very short, but very powerful, strength practice. And the point here is that you don't need a whole hour to do yoga. You can just do 10 minutes. Maybe you just do some of those stretches and the sun salutations I was doing at the beginning, and then you call it a day. Maybe you come to the floor and do a few things on the floor. Maybe you only do things on the floor. Check through my other videos and you see that I have a wide variety of times and styles, and I think you'll enjoy practicing with me. Okay, so we're going to bring our knees back up. We're going to do an inversion really quick before we move into Shavasana. So we're just going to raise those feet. So we're flexing those feet, moving our toes down towards our face, but not too, not too much effort there. And then we're gonna, keeping our shoulders on the ground, we're just gonna raise our arms up. And so what I'm doing is I'm really trying to set my shoulders into the ground. Teaching ourselves to keep our shoulders relaxed, even just throughout the day. If you notice, are my shoulders tense? Are they up in the direction of my ears? Just relaxing them back and down can make such a huge difference in how your nervous system is feeling. That body awareness, noticing how your body's feeling, and making dedicated efforts to change that feeling. If you're feeling tense, if you're feeling stress, if you're feeling anxiety, maybe just flutter your eyes closed and do a little bit of breathing. Just centering yourself. Maybe grab a meditation from Insight Timer or the Daily Calm or one of those. Putting it on, even for 2 or 3 minutes. Those of you with an Apple Watch, they actually remind you to breathe. And I think that's such a fantastic thing. If we could just do what our Apple Watch is telling us to do, breathe for a minute, I think that would make a huge difference in our days. Okay, let's hug our knees in. Let's rock side to side. And now it's time for Shavasana. So I'm going to stretch my legs out in front of me, drop my hands to my side, reset my head so my neck and my head are in line. Open up my palms to the sky. Let my legs my feet just sort of flop to the side. And just let this practice settle in. Nothing to do here but relax. Maybe just notice the difference in your body from when we began. Being grateful to yourself that you took the time today to tune into your body, to calm your mind, to connect with spirit. Go ahead and take those arms, raise them up over our heads, stretch them. Stretch our feet forward and our hands back. And I always feel like I need to yawn when I do this. Kind of releasing any tension that's left in your body. Hug those knees back in. And then raising up, coming to seated in easy pose. Spine straight, hands softly resting on your legs. Gently close your eyes. And on the next inhale, float those hands up to the sky. Look up to the sky. Put a smile on your face. Softly bring those hands to heart center. Keeping that smile on your face. Feeling a deep sense of gratitude for the day ahead. Thank you for joining me, friends. May the light, love, and joy in me reach out and touch the light, love, and joy in you. Peace, peace, peace. Look at that. I didn't make 30 minutes. It was 34. But oh well, I was close. Have a great day.